I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that. Hey, why not? Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow. Just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fan.
Welcome back, Flog members. It's Talking It Out with the Commish. It's the Week 5 recap with JT. JT avoids a scare this weekend. How's that feeling?
Dude, so I'm thinking I'm fine, right? Like I'm going into the Sunday night game,
Yeah, there's no shot anything could happen.
and you know how they have the scroller, right?
Mhm.
It was at 99%.
Yep.
99% chance, like no doubt it's gonna win. I'm like at that point, like I hadn't really like done too many things with Rachel that day because I was like doing other things. So like I'm not watching the game, but I was like, like let me just like look at my phone. I see like nothing's happening. I'm like, cool. And then all of a sudden I see the alert, George Kittle touchdown. I'm like, well,
Mhm.
like won't be that big. Like I'm thinking I have Tony Pollard. It's Tony Pollard versus George Kittle. I have like a 25-point lead. Like what could happen? The fact that I woke up the next morning and like I went to bed and I saw that there was 2 touchdowns. Pollard had like at one point Pollard had -2 points. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
So glad that bum's not on the squad anymore. I was like, he almost ruined this week for me.
I mean,
And I
I, wa-
and I
I
had it
was
mentally too. Like I was talking to my brother, I was like mapping it out. I was like, okay, like I win this week. Matt gets daddy doubled. Like
Mhm.
I-
Yeah.
I'm back in. Like it all works out.
Yep. No, I apparently, and I went to bed early too. After I have Kittle in another league. And after his second touchdown, I'm like, dang, like that sealed it up. Like we were good. Apparently, JT, you were at one point losing. Pollard apparently had like a catch with like 2 minutes left for like 25 yards, and that was what pushed you to win.
See, if I would have been up, I would have been spazzing.
So I guess there was like
That
a good 10-minute span where you were like actually losing. Um, but yeah, I was curious how that went
yeah,
for you.
literally Rachel was like getting upset with me because I'm like we're like she's like let's just go to bed and I'm like you don't understand like it's like down to like 70. It was at 99, now it's at 70, now it's like it's 65. Like yeah, that's too much. This is a crazy game.
Yeah, it was a crazy. I mean, that was crazy. Speaking of crazy, some of these injuries in the last
Like
24 to 48 hours. Just some crazy injuries right now. You have Achan probably going on IR.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jefferson.
Jefferson who is on IR, and not only is Jefferson on IR, but that team's 1-4. So like, I don't know how much you're going to be
Oh,
pushing.
oh, did you see the Adam Schefter?
What's that?
I saw they as I was listening to the fantasy footballers on the way home, and they were saying that Adam Schefter basically came out and said that people are saying that if they're not doing well when he comes
Mhm.
back, he might just take a little bit longer to rest.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they should go
Yeah.
full fire sale at this point, in my opinion. Trade Kirko to the Jets, and I think because Kirk is on he's a free agent next year, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's you're going to lose him anyways. But yeah, and then
And then that Caleb.
we have James Conner who was hurt,
Hmm.
and they're already talking about multi-week. I don't know if he's IR, but he's definitely multi-week. So that should be interesting for the waiver wire. I'm interested to see how that all plays out. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know Freddie's been saying he's been holding on to that top spot. I know I'm in the second spot, so I guess it's a matter of is there any name that you're willing to give it up for? That's the
yeah,
question, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I looked like there's like some potential possibilities. For me, they're all like fill-ins, but at this point, everybody kind of needs a fill-in if
Mhm.
most people can afford to give up a bench spot. So, but yeah, we'll go through the studs and duds, the first team off bench. We'll get into the the standings and the sulk meter and stuff like that. So, got a good show ahead. First thing first, the calls of the week. So, JT, you went with Owen no more. I like it.
Yeah, I gotta shout out my cousin Freddie. We were texting Sunday morning. I was like, I'm feeling it. This is the the week of the win. And I mean, you look at his points for, I feel like he was due. Like,
Mhm.
let's see, I say I don't think he's second anymore. I think he's like third.
No, he had some. He had a
Four,
lot of
fourth,
points.
4 points for. So finally in that win category. And realistically, it still kind of in the mix. Realistically, at 1 and 4 with everyone else being at 2 and 3.
Yes, for sure. I mean, there's a it's and that kind of goes off of my points, which you can kind of combine into one. I'm basically just talking it through to myself. Like I'm telling myself it's still early, but I'm not doing well right now. Like I'm down pretty bad. Um, 2 losses in a row. It's tough for the emotions. But I was listening to a show today. I listened to the XM show. He was saying like a lot of people, they're 0-5. They're still gonna come back. Like you can still come back and make the playoffs. So um, obviously each situation is a little bit more different than the others. But I was just saying, looking like for me, I've had I think like second or third highest projected points, and I'm sitting at like second or third in like points for. So like something's gonna have to even out. Like eventually, like I'm gonna like my guys are gonna hit their numbers, or the projections are just like completely way off. Which I hope they're not.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how I felt. Like I have 772 points against me.
Yeah, that's a ton.
Opponent's been averaging 154 points against me. So the fact that I'm 2 and 3, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm like, that can't happen forever. It's gotta
Yeah,
it's gotta weather the storm and make it to the other side.
that's for sure. And then your point on Tyler and the defense curse. It does feel like Tyler always gets hammered by the
Yeah.
defense bug.
Yeah, I know like we talk about like defenses, and I'm thinking to myself, I had the Dallas go negative on me earlier this week with Arizona, which I'm like, total flop. Like I can't I was going through, I'm like, it happens to Tyler so much.
Yeah.
Like I don't
So,
even know how. Like I know I feel bad because I feel like he's getting ragged on this year. And
no, I
but like
understand.
I'm just like, man, how does this just like keep happening to Tyler out of like every I'm gonna look at it right now. Like who did his like Washington against Chicago? Like that's
No,
not a bad play, in my opinion. And
especially
I'm just
like
like,
you're thinking Washington's had a decent defense. Justin Fields going to come back to earth, and then
yeah,
yeah, and it's a Thursday night, so it's a shortened week. Usually, like defense is the play
yeah.
on a Thursday night. So,
And you think like Justin Fields gets hit like a lot behind the line, like
Mhm.
takes sacks. So you figure you need to get some sack points. And I was just like, I
but
don't know. I'm just feeling for him. Just pouring one out for Tyler.
yeah. Speaking of defense, he did text me on Friday, and he was like, "We got to do something with the defense." And I have a few thoughts. I don't necessarily want to get away from them completely, but I will lay out a few ideas, few groundworks on some of my thoughts. One, we could go with the IDP, like the individual defensive player. So
Yeah.
like you would be able to get like a Micah Parsons, like so you're like always going to be getting positive points. It would add a whole
Yeah.
new factor into your draft strategy, which would be really fun. Um, but that's an idea. The other one I had was like everybody kind of starts at like a floor, like everyone starts at 0, and you'd be have the Philadelphia Eagles. So like if you get a sack, you get like a point. If you get an interception, you get 2 points. Like whatever it is, like
Yeah.
you come up with a formula. And then like even if they gave up like 25, 30 points, you're not gonna get negatives. So
Yeah, I feel
you're
like
gonna,
basically it's just changing it so it just doesn't go negative and just be like, oh, it's
yeah.
0.
I would say like if a team were to give up like 40 or more points, then like you should probably get a hit on you, but like it's capped at a hard 0. Like you could never go below 0.
Yeah. Yeah, just crazy stuff.
So I was talking, I know there was a few other people that said something to me about it. So I'm going to put it into our notes for next year. And I'll try to come up with some ideas that we can all vote on. We can, if it comes out that we all want to keep it exactly as it is, no problem. We'll just,
No.
have some ideas because it definitely worked when we did kickers. We changed up the whole kicker thing. I think you only
Yeah,
get bonus points for like 50 or more, but you
yeah, it
don't
definitely
get,
helped nerf them a bit.
yeah, and you don't get negatives for if somebody attempts a 50-yarder or
Yeah.
longer. So like, you know. So I thought that helped us. So and then your last point, which was a fun one, we were at the Wick on Saturday night watching the Phils.
Yeah, yeah. And I figured I just throw this on here to fill those in that weren't at the Wick because Tyler and I had previously talked about trading because I felt like my team was desperate for a quarterback and could just help offer him some pieces. So we were sitting there chatting, and Tyler kind of mentioned he's like, you still trying to trade? Like, I hate my team. And I was like, oh, like, let's see. But I thought the funniest part was we have the app open and Tyler and I are looking at it and just seeing you and Derek almost like dogs to a scent, just being like just like across the way, weren't even involved.
I
There's
wasn't
like
even. I just
a nose for the like they're like they see the green bar across the phone with the white
Mhm.
below. They're like, is that the ESPN app? There's like Derek's texting me on the side. He's like, I hear you're trading Pollard, like Jamar Chase. Like, what do you want? Like, just like trying to text. But I was like, like I'm really trying to get the quarterback. So,
And then Tyler's coming up to me. He's like, "So, like, what do you think of this?" I'm
oh
like,
yeah, you
"You can
talked
do
about the
more.
first
You
one.
can
I
do
was like,
more."
hey.
Uh, but no, it was good. Like, and you're right. I was, very intently watching the game, talking to Kenna, talking to some, Nancy, like different people. And then I just like happened to just like look over and I see it and I'm like, oh, what is going on? And I had to get my, had to go check and see what was happening. And then I forgot that when you get more than 2 flog members ever in a setting, trade talk will happen.
Oh
And
yeah.
maybe we bring back some smoke fest. I know the time is limited, but maybe we can make something work here.
Yeah, I think we get a little something together definitely before trade deadline.
Yeah. Yeah, let's look into that. So yeah, so they are the calls of the week. Um and we will head to the first team off bench. So San Francisco defense, 19 points, big week on Zach's bench. Um I understood what he was doing. It was
Yeah. That's a scary matchup. I don't want it. I benched Dallas defense for the same reason. I was like, oh, like that's a scary matchup.
Dallas is just a strange team this year, so not
I
really sure what's happening there.
think they're mid.
Yeah,
Like
they looked
I think
like
that world beaters against bad teams
mhm,
and against decent teams, they're looking bad.
yeah, no, I agree. You went Joe Shiesty.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a sore subject here in the Bear household.
yeah, I kind of went with the theme of like players that I'm like, man, if they were in the lineup, like that game would be drastically different, whether like that person would be like not sweating it out or
Yeah,
just boom. And like for you, it was like, man, like if Joe Burrow was in, like you wouldn't necessarily have won, but it would have been a game.
yeah. I have a point to make on Joe Burrow. It's pretty funny. I'm listening to like, the fantasy radio and stuff, and there's all these callers calling in saying how they dropped Burrow last week. Like I understand Burrow's off to a slow start. He's also Joe Burrow. Like there's clearly
Yeah.
like an injury happening. He has some
He,
fantastic wide receiver and
I
cool.
said too many weapons on that team.
Like I just couldn't imagine ever being at a. I mean, maybe if it was like week 14 and I needed to like I needed a different quarterback play, like I had, but like it's Joe Burrow. Like
Yeah. Like
I understand me not playing him a week, but I don't know how anyone could drop him,
I don't want to drop Trevor Lawrence
and you
because I'm like
shouldn't,
he'd get scooped up, and Joe Burrow is way better than Trevor Lawrence.
because they have that ability at any time to like start, it starts clicking.
Yeah.
So um, yeah. I'm happy he decided to show up. I'm hoping for some more days like that uh going forward. So I went AJ Dillon. Had John known that Aaron Jones was out, he would have probably made that move, but that was a tough one because I think like Jones, didn't he go out like,
They were saying like he was gonna play. Like the
yeah, it was
messaging,
like
like
Sunday. He
he
like,
was gonna play. It wasn't until Monday, like Monday, that they were like,
okay,
"Oh, he's not working out. He's not gonna play."
it
Like that
was
was like
Monday.
it was a Monday call.
Yes,
So it's
my
like,
coworker came in my office and goes, "Aaron Jones isn't playing." I'm like, "Well, that would suck if anyone had him in their lineup." Then I looked and saw that Turtle had him in the lineup,
yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh,
yeah. Because I mean, if that game is like a Sunday afternoon, JL probably makes that swap, and I'm the second highest point scorer of the week. Then
crazy." Um, so yeah, AJ Dillon, just a weird year. Like I wouldn't even have trusted him going into the game. So
no,
Um, he's had some up and downs, but big week last week. And you had Zach Moss, who, what an interesting situation, and
yeah, that I
especially
just
now
traded into.
you acquiring Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, my thought process going into this weekend, because I have Zach Moss in another league and I did play him,
Mm-hmm.
and is that there's going to be another 2 to 3 weeks of Zach Moss, and then I see it become Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
Like I think Jonathan Taylor is probably just a little out of it right now, and then he's gonna work his way back. I don't think it's gonna be like 100% Taylor. Like I think Zach Moss
yeah.
has basically worked his niche out in that offense, but I think ultimately Taylor's the better talent, and he'll
Mhm.
like be involved. But like if you look at the weapons of that team, I mean, I think it's like they got two really good running backs, and you got Michael Pittman.
Yeah. No, I mean Zach Moss definitely he's a flex play every week, I'd say, like without a doubt, unless proven otherwise. But I mean Jonathan Taylor he hadn't practiced in over like 270 days. Like he hadn't put pads on. And like they brought him back that Tuesday or Monday and then he practiced.
Yeah,
So like that's not enough time.
yeah,
So just that's just another play for Eric if when he needs it. I went Gabe Davis, 19 points, another player on Eric's roster. Another guy that's just you're not always quite sure about. He's a boomer bust for sure. But 19
yeah.
points
I feel
is
like he either scores 20 or two.
mm-hmm.
There is no in between.
Yep.
Like I have like Christian Kirk, and I feel like it could be the perfect game. Scores 11 points. It could be everyone like didn't play well at all. Christian Kirk scores 11 points. Whereas like I feel Gabe Davis, it's like you got to be prepared for that. Like I could get goosed, or this
Mm-hmm.
guy could win me the game.
Yeah. And you went Dallas Goddard, which is great to see for Eagles fans. It was nice to see
Yeah.
him getting acclimated into the offense.
Yeah, I figured they've basically like what I've read and what I've seen is like when it's a zone defense, which is what the Rams primarily played, it's the Devontae Smith Dallas Goddard show. Like what they usually are the zone beaters for the
Mhm.
Eagles. And sure enough, Goddard did it. And I also threw him up there because like I said, like if Turtle would have played him, he would have won
Sure.
this matchup. So that's gotta hurt being a Birds fan watching it being like, man, like
Hmm.
if I would have played you, I would have won.
I now I'm seeing that too. That's tough. He definitely would have won with had he played him.
I think his tight end got like 3 points.
But Dallas Goddard is the exact
Yeah.
situation as Joe Burrow was. Like up till that
Mhm.
point, they haven't done
Yeah,
anything.
done
So
nothing.
you can't blame them
No.
there. So yeah, that's our first team all bench. And we'll move on to the studs of the week. Justin Fields, DJ Moore combo. That's 85.7 points sitting right there. I guess Fields is locked in. Now, I'm curious, is it just because he's playing some bad teams,
Yeah.
or is he
Or if
bad?
it's really
Yeah.
I,
You gotta play him
I
then.
think watching the game, yeah, I mean the first games they weren't doing design runs.
Yeah.
They like last year when he was killing it, they were doing design runs. And all of a sudden they're like, well, what if we just do design runs again? And I really think it's like they do design runs. He's feeling good about himself. And he's just like I don't know if you watched the Thursday night game,
Yeah,
but
I
like
did.
there were some points where DJ Moore was just not even covered. And
Mhm.
I'm like, what is this secondary?
Mhm.
And there were some throws where I felt like he was just like, F it, Moore's down there somewhere. And just
Mhm.
like they could have had at the end of the game, they called Moore out and he wasn't out. That was like another
Mhm.
70-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
that.
I have more on another team and definitely and I actually had Fields, but I sat him Fields
No.
and played more. I thought I'd cut my losses. Um, and that was awesome to see, especially if you're DJ
Oh
Moore.
yeah. It there's nothing like waking up on a Friday morning when you got a
Hmm.
45 spot from one player.
Yeah,
And
that's the
realistically,
best feeling.
if I didn't have DJ Moore, I don't win this week.
I mean, it's the best feeling until JL says something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm surprised he's still alive." Like
Oh
that
my
was
gosh. Like when he shot that tag shot at the first drive, I was like, well, 16 points, I'll take it. Like,
a yeah. Um, that was awesome to see. And then another one of your players, ETN, big game. Kind of always
yeah.
everyone's kind of been waiting on him.
Yeah, he just has been in the Jaguars offense in general have been allergic to the end zone.
Mhm.
Like they're a big yards team, and if you look at his previous games, he's gotten yards, he just hasn't gotten the end zone. And this week he finally got the end zone. So that's what I feel like really like just ripped them open was just
Mhm.
finally just like boom in the end zone.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at his stats. He's looking pretty good, like, and they're definitely, like,
Yeah.
leaning on him in the last few
Oh
weeks.
yeah. And like it's infuriating too, because I've like watched the Jaguars games now because I was rocking Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
Mhm.
Just watching Tank Bigsby come in on the 1 yard line and just taking in touchdowns. I'm just like, it's just irks my soul. But
Yeah.
they finally stopped doing it because Bigsby's just been fumbling the ball like crazy. So I was like, thank goodness.
Yeah, and then so you went, Sturdy Purdy, and he's definitely been sturdy. Just a great low buy for Derek. Like, I don't
Oh
even
yeah.
he was drafted, like, he just
No.
picked up off the scrap pile.
Undrafted. You and I out here, I feel like we're 2-3 because we're not getting any production from the
Mhm.
quarterback. And Derek is out here 4-1 with an undrafted quarterback just posting 30 plus points.
Yep.
Like that's what I literally did my trade for. Is like I want the potential for my quarterback to be able to score upper 20s, upper 30s. And I was like, I just
Yeah.
was not getting it that with Stroud or Lawrence.
Yeah, like Purdy's not gonna put up a 40-point game, but he's gonna put up 25 every week.
Oh yeah.
With he's gonna be between 20 and 30 every single week. So he's good, like 34 points out of him. Fantastic job. Um, definitely, definitely a way to go. Like there's definitely like two ways of looking at quarterbacks. It's like you buy high on them in the draft, or you wait on them and take them real last minute, pick up guys until
Mm,
you. It's kind of like the tight end position. So
no.
some people see it one way, others see it the other. Speaking of carousel players, Sam Laporta, um,
Mm.
tight end. I think he's the second rank. He might be even first rank now.
I think he overtook Kelsey this week.
Yeah. So he was definitely a help for Freddie. Yeah, he is position rank 1. Um, he had 2 touchdowns. I guess with Amon Ra not playing,
Yeah.
he had a little bit. Actually, he only had 4 targets, so
Yeah.
he
But
really made the most of his targets.
the Lions didn't have to throw that game. Like they
No,
got up so quick, they
yeah.
just ran.
I mean, and then to that point, David Montgomery, who's been
Yeah, I think he's the unsung hero of my brother's team because I think when it really came down to how my brother was going to do this year, like we knew he was going to have like Jefferson.
hmm
I I knew he was drafting CMC because he like told me pretty early on,
hmm
and then getting Hurts and Andrews, you're like that. Like I know firsthand what those top four can do, getting
yeah,
like a 185 spot dropped on me. But it
yeah,
basically his team came down to like who his other pieces were going to be, and David Montgomery, I feel he's been averaging like upper teens this entire year and dropped the 30 spot the 1 week.
yeah.
He's probably top five RB.
I think he's 7. Now, would you trade? Would you include David Montgomery in a trade to acquire Tyreek Hill?
Is that the proposal right now? You're trying to get him?
I don't know. Like there might be a trade floating out there in the
Oh,
trade sphere.
I say hypothetically, if someone had Tyreek Hill
Yes.
and what would be David, it's obviously is David Mont plus.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna divulge too much, but
But I mean, realistically, is it crazy to say that I'd entertain that idea because David Montgomery seems to be like, I don't know what is up with like Dan Campbell and drafting a high level
he
running back and being like, you know what? I want the old head just to
yeah,
carry
he's
the
like,
ball.
I'd rather have the meatball looking running back
Yeah. He's like
versus the fast.
DeAndre Swift?
Yeah,
No.
no.
Jameson Williams? Yes. I feel like this year we should have all known. Like Jameer Gibbs? No. David Montgomery? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Um, but yeah, no, David Montgomery, yeah, he's a yes. We were having some conversations about 10 minutes ago. They were very good conversations, so we'll see
Oh.
how that ends up. Um,
I was
but
trying to entice him earlier, before the weekend started to maybe give me Jefferson. So I wonder if he's feeling regrets about that now.
yeah, I mean that's kind of why I went to him. I said, "Look, you're the only person with pieces. You lost Jefferson, but imagine what a CMC,
Yeah.
Jefferson, and Hill combo would look like come playoff time."
Scary.
Yes. But on to the duds. Washington D. Sorry, Tyler. -5. It's ugly to look at. Um, Especially on what's even worse about that is it happened on a Thursday.
Thursday, you're already behind the eight
You're
ball.
already down -5 points.
Like I'm just like picture me waking up Friday morning to 45 points, and I'm thinking the feeling I had to
And
the flip
then
side of Tyler
flip
being
that.
like, I'm down 5.
Yeah, I mean that has to suck. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not. And we made our jokes with them, but
Hey, this trade's gonna help him out. This
Yeah.
trade's gonna help him out. He's
For
got
sure.
my top dud of the week though, Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
That's just because that man has put me through such a scare this past week. And honestly, like he's been doing like
I'm
he's
looking
had a
at
couple
Tyler's
okay
team.
games.
Dude, Tyler's team has finally a projection over 100. Not just over 100, over 110. He's
Hey,
projected 118.
hey,
That's a team that can
lo-
compete.
low key is Eckler back?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm thinking he's got Pollard, he's got Eckler. Like,
Like and he's got Tua still. Like
yeah, and T.
the
Higgins isn't
team,
even back yet.
the team's coming along.
Yeah, like you know,
It's good to get that trade off, and now like if he wanted, he could start trading other pieces, and all of a sudden he can put together a
yeah.
roster, and all it takes is a few wins, and you're right back in it. So
I mean, he dropped 140 plus against me,
that's true.
so it's in his team.
You went Tony Pollard. We already talked about him.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll go Braxton Berrios
yeah, that was
because
a
when
weird one.
JL Braxton Berrios in the starting lineup, I was like, dude, like Braxton is about to just snap for no reason.
I
I just
thought
seen
Tyreek was
people.
going to snap his Achilles when I saw that. I'm like, why is Braxton Berrios in? Like Tyreek's getting hurt.
Yeah, and like just realistically, like look at his bench pieces. Like that was like the call that cost the game essentially. So
Yeah.
that's why I threw Braxton up there.
I went James Cook. Um Tough one early. It was a morning game. I'm like me and Derek are coaching, so like real funny story, like me and Derek are coaching and like I like hear like really loud like video like I'm like, what is going on? I hear like a game being like listened to or watched, and we like look out. And I'm like, Derek, what is that? We like look out into the outfield or like the first baseline. The umpire's just on his phone, just watching the Bills game. He's telling me that he's got Bills -5.5. He has James Cook for like 40 yards. Like he's telling me his whole ticket. I'm like, buddy, can you like watch the baseball game? Like we're paying you money to umpire.
Well, my man's getting paid money to turn it into bigger money.
Exactly. That was his philosophy. But he was real mad. He was like, James Cook has to be injured. He got -4 yards. He's like, and I'm like sitting there just like, oh, great, good to hear. So yeah, 3.6, that sucked.
Yeah, I mean, does it suck as much as your quarterback scoring 4.7?
That was like a whatever. I'm actually more mad about Love not throwing a touchdown last night, ruined my parlay. I
I
just
had
needed
that in a parlay. Well, did you see the end of the game? He had Christian Watson wide open and he just underthrew him by a mile.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I needed not only did I need that touchdown pass, I also had another parlay that missed because of I took the over on like 35.5 points. I don't think that hit. So
Yeah. I mean, I almost put Tyler Boyd up here too because he had a 30-yard touchdown called back, right?
no,
You know,
I didn't.
oh yeah, you know how like, it happened to AJ Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Happened to Tyler Boyd, just complete opposite side of the field, nothing to do with the play, called it back. Bet you
No.
on it for JL. Yeah. That's plays like that make me think Eric has officially taken the voodoo.
He doesn't even hide it right now in his text conversation with me. He's very open about it, so it's disgusting, Eric. We'll see how far that gets you. Uh, and then I went Devonte Adams just because I feel like it's a tough week for Turtle. But I will tell you, Turtle did text me saying uh just add me to the meter this week so I can't go anywhere but up as I face JL next week. So he's not doing well, and I don't mean to keep adding to it, but has had Devonte Adams put up like a Davante Adam type game, he probably beats Freddie
Yeah,
there.
he's ready.
Yeah. So that's the duds of the week. Um, we'll run through the standings. We have two 5-0 teams. Eric and Zach. Derek at 4-1, followed by Turtle, Zach, and Tyler. And then in your division, like I said, Zach Schwinn 5-0. You're at 2-3. JL at 2-3. I'm at 2-3, and then Freddie at 1-4.
Yeah, our division's crazy.
Yeah, and like the fifth team is one of the scariest teams. So like, I mean, take out your brother, but the rest of us all are like in this.
Yeah, we're calling it out.
It's gonna be ugly come down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, too, even the DS division, I think Eric and Derek might have just separated themselves just enough, just with their starts to be safe for a bit. But that last spot too is going to be a claw out.
Yeah, I mean, if Eric and Derek were to like lose out, there's a chance like they, I mean, maybe not lose out, but if they're not gonna need more than like
Eric probably only needs 3 more wins to
2 or 3 more wins. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's really
they're
you got to get 8 wins, and
yeah,
Zach and Eric are 3 wins away from that.
crazy. So we will go through the sulk meter. I didn't have enough time to get in, because we had to flip this around quickly, guys. Usually we have that Wednesday, but we're doing it on a Tuesday. So we have some different categories. So in the red, we have dead inside. Just absolutely just not doing well. In the orange, we have embarrassing. Um, and then in the yellow, we have pleased. So you're feeling okay. You're pleased. Optimistic in the light green. Things are going good, feeling pretty good. And then dark green, it's a wrap. Like you already won. So, daddy doubles, it's a
Oh,
wrap,
it's
right?
a wrap. It's got to be,
I mean,
even
is
with
it a
adjusting
wrap
different
hamstring
injury.
or is it really a wrap?
Yeah, I'm so I figured I haven't asked you yet for the Venmo request for highest points this week, but I figured I'd almost have to request it from my brother because it was just already sent to him
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
figured I would just send it.
that's his mindset, honestly. At this point, from seeing him, he is just like
He
he's got
takes it
that
as a
extra pep in the
loss.
step.
He takes it as a
Oh
loss
yeah,
if he doesn't get high score.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. So, Eric, I can tell you he's cocky.
yeah. I think Eric is giving it's a wrap on the outside, but I think on the inside
Yeah,
he's feeling more optimistic.
I'd agree with you. I think we all know that Zach Schwinn is where he is, and everybody else is just like in a different like stratosphere. But I'd say Derek has to be feeling highly optimistic.
That Cooper Cup, that first drive,
I mean that's what I mean.
dude,
So that like
my man was bricked. He was,
that
I don't know where he was. He's probably at the Applebee's.
yeah.
Dollaritas are coming back this week. He was probably like, whoo, he's feeling himself.
I mean, he had that span where Cooper Cup had like 5 catches in like that first drive.
He
Jamar
looked
Chase catches that.
unstoppable.
Jamar Chase catches the touchdown during all that. They go to like a game break. Jamar Chase touchdown. I'm like, this man's like fully bricked. Like he's
Yeah.
happy. So I mean, he did lose. He is going to lose. Connor's on the IR now. So I guess that's official. So that's 4 weeks. Um,
That's nothing compared to having Cup back though. Especially with Chase going. You got
no,
Cup.
but now he's forced to play Samaje Perine.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
like he has no running back depth without Gibbs. If Gibbs can play, I mean even when he does play, um, it's not that great. So, but like it's not like he doesn't have the wide receivers to make a move. Um,
Yeah.
but so yeah,
Ask
I'd say
Derek,
he's.
Jamar Chase, hit me up. I got Kyron.
Well, there you go. You heard it there. Um, how are you feeling?
Uh, if I would have lost this week, I would have been in full fire sale mode. I'd have just been like, I don't like, I'm
Hmm.
playing for next year. But the fact that I have as many points up against me as I do, and I'm 2-3, I'm feeling optimistic.
You should. Yeah, I would
Like,
say. I'd say you
I
have
have
every reason.
yeah, like, and I think this week, Daddy Double showed that they are human a little bit,
Hmm.
and that you're like, okay, like they can, I feel like the year I won the championship to like Derek's team on paper was definitely better than mine, but
Hmm.
you know, any given Sunday, weirder things have happened.
Absolutely. No, I would agree with you there. I like where you're headed there. John Leonard, I don't know. Let me see his team. There's probably
I mean, the way Brees Hall's been playing, like I played him
yeah,
this week, no Kenneth Walker. Like if George Kittle's going again, Amon Ra's back. Like I'd be feeling optimistic too if I was him. Like he's
yeah.
got like his top team is Allen, Walker, Hall, Diggs. Like you
Hmm.
got Amon Ra, you got Pittman as a flex. I mean, if he's just missing like one more top tier
Yeah.
flex player, and then
I
I
mean,
feel like he's all the way there.
yeah, and that's that Najee Harris where he's like, if he was getting like
Anything from
where
now.
he picked him value, he'd be one of the hardest, the best teams in this league right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say he's around that pleased, optimistic
Yeah.
range. Um, I am embarrassed. I don't think I've been under 500 this late into a season in like like many years. So this is a new territory for me to handle. I like woke up this morning and I was like thought to myself, I'm like I might just like tank for next year and like get a better pick, maybe get a keeper. But then I had second thoughts. I was like, our division still anything can happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, all I would say is if I was you, I'd be feeling a little optimistic to please because your bench reads Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, Jalen Warren, and Derek is desperate for a running back, and you got a
yeah.
couple def running backs. I'm sure you have already texted them.
I have not. I'll see him tonight. We have baseball practice. I'm sure he'll be chatting me up for some running back depth. I think Jalen Warren keeps increasing his um
Yeah, that's a part of the
touches,
reason I was really scared for Najee this year is because Jalen Warren looked good last year.
and that's why I can't drop him. Jerome. I mean, last week I was missing Ford. I was missing White. Um, I'm still kind of like embarrassed where I'm at, but um,
Better days ahead,
yeah,
better.
better days ahead. Um, Freddie's got to be pleased right now, right?
I, my man won with Josh Dobbs as his quarterback.
Yes.
And I mean, he's got Mostert and A Chain's hurt now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the second running back there is it Jeff Wilson? Is it Abdul? Like who is it,
Oh
So
yeah, he
Devontae Smith, as quiet as he's been, they gotta involve him soon.
same with Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Like Calvin Ridley, they're giving end arounds to, like they're trying to get him involved. Like
Pacheco's had a quiet, very good season.
Pacheco
Um,
running back 13.
yeah, and he has Herbert, who's gonna always chuck the ball. So I mean, Freddie's got to be feeling pretty good. Like just to see that W in the column,
Mhm.
that's big.
He's very similar to me in that he barely just made not cracking the 700 points against
Mm-hmm.
like that, and I think he's starting to see like those points against can't stay that way forever. So if
Yeah,
your team's putting up points, eventually it evens out.
yeah, definitely. So Turtle, which is ironic because his name is Embarrassment, but he's telling me he's dead inside. Um, he's definitely, I'm gonna go. He's probably a little bit embarrassed right now. Um, it was a tough
Yeah,
trade for him. I think he's starting to. It's not like those guys are hurt. Like it's not like Ron Stevenson's like lighting the world on fire. And
yeah,
Deacon was on a bye last week, so like it's not even like he could have used those points. But
yeah. It's I think Justin Jefferson getting hurt really hurts Kirk Cousins.
uh-huh,
Like him like on that QB1 bid right now.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Devontae Adams to me is going to be so streaky with Garoppolo. Like just looking at his games now, he's only broken 15 points twice.
mm-hmm,
He's 2 games below double digits. Like, oh, it's just oh man, Adam Thielen's ranked higher than Devontae Adams. That's
yeah.
crazy.
He's going crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. But like, yeah, like if I was him, I'm like pleased to maybe a little bit embarrassed of like what's going on.
Yeah. Um, Zach Bear right now losing A Chain. It's tough.
Yeah.
He and we'll get into the matchups in a second. I play him this week. That's a big matchup
Oh
for
yeah.
the brothers. It's I mean at least he has a little bit of depth here in his bench. And he has some wide receivers that are they'll be able to fill in for his flex, but after like what A Chain showed and like what he like kind of fell into, it's got to hurt a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, even Amari Cooper, I'd be scared of because it looks like Watson's not going to be playing. They're going to be playing like a rookie quarterback this weekend.
Yes.
So it's if I'm him, I'm feeling a little bit emba embarrassing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not super hot.
No. And at the same sense, he's right there for a playoff spot. Like it's not like
Yeah.
Turtles team's trending up. So he could potentially get that third spot. So and then Tyler is completely dead inside.
Oh yeah.
When you put up the 66.6 points, you're doing something. You're praying to the wrong person there. I just don't know
Yeah,
what to say.
Tyler, I think you gotta come the King's Way on Sunday. I think you gotta find
See the Lord.
anyone with a football jersey on, sit next to them, go walk up to the front, ask for some prayer
Some prayer,
because
yeah.
something's going on right
Holy
now.
water. Like, yeah, I don't know what it is, man, but when I saw it, I was cracking up. I'm like, there's no way his score ended at 66.6. Um, yeah, so that's our sulk meter. I think we hit everyone. Um,
Yeah,
and we'll move
yeah,
on to the matchups. Now, we both said before the show that we would have probably changed up some of our matchups. However, we'll go with this. Me versus Zeebs, and I kind of did this before the A Chain news, so I would
yeah,
probably change myself back to me.
yeah. That's what I like. I saw the A chain and I hit the chain, so I didn't know if it was gonna go through, but it looks like it did. Like I thought Zach was maybe gonna edge it out, then I saw A chain and I was like, well, Matt Bear.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. Um, JT, Eric, we're both going JT. I've went against Eric every time, I think, and
Yikes.
Eric has proven me wrong. So I don't know if this is gonna. I might have like just gave you the curse of death there.
I know the kiss to death. I know.
Yeah.
I'm preaching self-confidence. Got some new guys in the locker room. I think they got to make a good first impression.
All right. Derek versus Zach Schwinn. We're both going Zach Schwinn. Derek might put up a fight. Oh, definitely put up a better fight than I did. Um,
Yeah, I'm thinking like McCaffrey had a bad game, and that just terrifies me for what his bounce back game is like.
when you lose Justin Jefferson and your projections are still 140,
Yeah,
you have like a solid roster.
Yeah, it's dumb. Like I'm like
Mhm.
roster is dummy.
Yes. So that'll be. I mean, Zach went. We're both taking him. Uh, Tyler versus Freddie. My bad. No more Owen. It is. It is Freddie. I miss type that out. But I'm going Freddie. He's gonna get 2 wins here. And you're going
Yeah.
Tyler Bear.
Yeah, like Tyler's matchups for players.
Okay.
I think I think Tua is going to light it up against Carolina. Like Carolina's defense has been solid, but I think like they're just I think Mike McDaniel just loves running up the score on bad teams.
I think
Like,
Tyreek goes nuclear again.
yeah, so I just see that being like a problem. Like I feel like Carolina's defense has looked good against some like you hate to say slower teams, but it's just slower teams. Like Miami's just like these little speedsters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're just not built up for it. I think Eckler is like the running type of running back that like Dallas just has a hard time with these little squirrely like pass catchers that just come around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be an issue, and I think the Chargers are actually pretty good, and I think that's just going to be another thing of like the oh Dallas is just kind of mid like, and then I think like Pollard he's got Pollard that I just gave him. I think he's going to do well. Like I don't know. I just think this is like the week Tyler like breaks 100 points again.
Yeah. No, it's hopefully like if he can get Higgins back, Eckler's playing.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like Higgins is back too. So
it looks like there's some weapons there. So um, that is one to keep an eye on. That's an interesting matchup. And then Turtle John. I'm going John. You're going Turtle.
yeah, I went Turtle solely for the fact that I think it's just one of those things your team snaps and then it comes back a little bit. Like
Mhm.
I think they're just hitting each other on the flip. Like I think Turtle's team had a down week. It's gonna have an up week, and I think John's team had a huge up week. It's gonna have a down week.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's where we're at. Um, Overall, the record 11-9 for myself. Guess is 12-8. This was a rough week last week for me on the matchups, but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I
No.
believe that's it. Do you have anything else, JT? Any
Yeah.
other?
I just think it's gonna be a big week. Good to see who's maybe thinking I gotta make a push for the playoffs and
Mm-hmm.
who's thinking maybe I'm selling pieces after this week. So
Yeah, this is
big
definitely
matchups.
we're getting into that season where like it's either gonna start looking up or you're gonna have to start making moves. So
Yeah.
um yeah, that's all I got. We will see you back next week.
All right. See you, man.